There's a shift happening in the business world. The hustle, the sell, the push isn't serving us. As business owners, we want real human connection. We want a partnership that means more than a handshake. We want to show up as ourselves and run a business that feels good. We want to go deeper to find solutions, and we dream of a better future for ourselves and our community. Join me as we explore a different approach to business, a more personal way to serve our clients, our team, and ourselves. This is the soul side of business. Hello and welcome to a new episode of The Soul Side of Business. I'm Ashley with Imagine Images, and I'm your guide to discovering a more personal approach to business. Today, I'm very excited to share a conversation I had with Jenn Lamers-Sommer. She's a psychic medium, and in a career where there's so much stereotype and unknown things, I think she does a really great job of educating her clients and showing integrity in her work. I have great respect for Jenn as a person. She's brilliant, she's trained, she's super smart, and I just really like the way that she runs her business. And I think no matter what type of business you are in, I think there's a lot of value to be taken away from this conversation. So let's take a listen. So how do you contribute to your clients' stories?
Ooh, that's a great question. So my job as the expert is to help them start to unravel what in their story is holding them back. Whether it's through a psychic mediumship reading or whether it's through shadow work courses with me. And my goal is always to have them find clarity and hope to be able to find their way. And that's part of the reason I call my business what I do with Jenn's Illuminated Path, because I can't walk their path for them, but I can help them see it a little bit more clearly. And that's my goal.
That's really good, because when people think of psychic mediums, they think, ooh, it's spooky, and they don't want to hear what you have to say because it's going to be something bad.
Yes.
And your approach is completely different.
Exactly. And I do get people who still come to me and they're worried I'm going to tell them scary things, which I understand. And it's very difficult because when someone comes to you and you're trying to read for them and they're scared, it puts up a block. So I have to relax people into it. I have to help people understand really what's going to happen. And it's not spooky. It's really meant to be empowering.
Yeah.
So
how do you connect to your clients? Like, you really have to know them, or don't you have to know them?
I don't have to know them.
Okay.
That's the cool thing about what I do. The less I know, the better.
Wow. Because
Yes.
for every other person I've interviewed, they have to know their clients well in order to serve them well. And
Right.
for you, it's different.
For me, it's different. For me, it's the less I know, the better, because then what I get is pure information from elsewhere, from their aura, from spirit, you name it. And I can uncover things that they think nobody else knows, which is a little freaky. But when you do it with a really delicate hand, it doesn't need to be freaky. No. It can be really empowering to have somebody else understand and to validate you.
That's great. And there needs to be more of that. Like, it's a skill that you have.
It is. It comes from years of not always being a psychic medium, but working with people in lots of different capacities.
Right. You almost have to have a really good bedside manner, too.
You do. You do. There is a way of presenting information to people that's very truthful, but yet not detrimental to their mental health. So we walk a very, very careful path as psychic mediums that we need to make sure that what we're doing is honest, ethical, and also very much taking into account the emotional well-being of the client.
Yeah. To do no harm.
Do no harm.
Yep.
Exactly.
Yep. That's good. That's hard.
It is hard. It is hard. And especially if you get information auditorily and it just keeps coming in your ear and you're going, shut up a second. I need to think of how to say this.
How to say it right.
How do I say this so this doesn't come off the wrong way?
That's awesome. That's so interesting. So this is a business that you run doing this. So not only do you have to think about how you're serving your client, but you're also running it as a business. So
Yes.
what is something that's working well for you in your business right now?
For me, it is having the pride in what I do, not being afraid to talk to people about what I do. It's also being very well educated in what I do. Most people don't know that we can get education as a medium. And I take it very seriously because that's really what has given me the bedside manner that I have, so to speak, with my clients, and how to approach them in a way that's respectful. The other thing is you have to absolutely do well, because word of mouth is key in this business. Nobody is randomly selecting psychic mediums, and when you do, sometimes you randomly select very poorly, and you have somebody who you're like, huh? And I've been there.
You're on the other end. Oh, that's
I've been on that other end as a client selecting somebody.
So word of mouth is like key for you. Referrals are key for you.
Referrals are key.
So if you do a good job, that works well for you.
It does. And when you connect with people and you connect with them honestly, people remember that. And then they want that for their friends. They want that for their family.
That's what people are looking for now, is honesty. They don't want to be bamboozled or sold.
No, and that's just it. You have to have integrity in what you do and take it seriously, and not be trying to be dishonest and use unethical approaches, because there are unethical approaches in this business.
There are in every business.
Yep, exactly.
So being true to yourself, and also furthering your own education, which I know you do a lot of.
I do.
Training.
I do. I work through Arthur Findlay College in England. And Morris Pratt Institute, actually down in Milwaukee area.
Okay.
And they both are excellent institutions, and they're both spiritualist-based institutions. But when you take it to that level and you take it more seriously, that reflects in how you handle yourself in your own business.
The way you think about yourself,
the way you think about yourself, but also just how you hold yourself, how you respect what you do, because you're putting a lot of your time and effort into doing it well.
It's an investment in yourself.
It is.
You have to feel worthy of that, right?
Yes.
It's hard.
It is hard. It's very hard.
That's good. Well, it's working really good. It is working good for you.
So far, so good.
Yeah. If there was a problem you could solve in your business, like something, a challenge or a struggle, like if you could solve something, what would that be?
For me, it's going to be really unique, probably, compared to a lot of businesses. And that is just helping people to understand that what we do as psychic mediums is not performance art. We aren't really here to entertain.
Right.
I take it more seriously, as I'm here to really help you find that piece that you feel like you're missing, and to at least help you get to a point where if you can't quite find it, you start to see which way you need to go. So when somebody comes in thinking I'm going to entertain them, that's hard for me, because they're coming with this idea that we have so many psychic mediums in movies and television and things, and it isn't like that.
No.
There are some that are very good out there it is a little bit more like them, but it's just the difficulty of educating people into what we do, and the integrity at which we do it, and that it's not just like a sideshow, and I'm not going to dress like a gypsy, and this is how I dress when I read for people. But it would be so fun if you did. I mean, I don't have a crystal. Okay, I do have a crystal ball. Yeah. But I don't use it.
Yeah. So when you come in for reading, it's a pretty normal experience.
I had somebody one time who came for a reading, first time they ever did a reading, and they looked at me and they're like, "You don't look like what I expected a psychic medium to look like." And I'm like, "What did you expect?"
Oh, that's so funny. Well, and I think you're onto something, but when you say it's very unique for your business, I don't think it is. I think a lot of people have businesses where people don't understand what they do.
That's true.
And they have they are not good at, or have a problem putting out or communicating what they do. And that's a huge barrier in business.
Yes.
Yeah.
We can't be afraid to educate people on how we run a business. Because, depending on which business you're in, that's really, your job isn't just the business itself, it's helping people to understand how it operates.
Yeah. So I think you're not alone in that.
It's good to know.
Yeah. No, I totally think that that's a problem a lot of
Yeah.
people have. Even like on social media and the way society is,
Yes.
how you show up
Right.
is important.
It is. And I'm not showing up looking like Stevie Nicks anytime soon. Though Stevie Nicks is gorgeous.
Again, that would be really fun.
It would be a lot of
Know
fun.
your audience. Know your audience,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Awesome. Well, this one is a good one for you. Is there a piece of advice that you got along the way, either from a mentor or someone who is a couple steps ahead of you, that changed the way you think about yourself, your business, kind of was a game changer for you?
I grew up in a business.
Okay, yeah.
So I got the opportunity to watch how my parents ran their business. And I think the game changer for me was, I love what I do, but I love life also. And I watched my parents devote so much time and effort to their business to the detriment of themselves. And I think we're in a time where we're seen as business owners. Yes, we absolutely have to we have to pay the bills.
Yes.
But we also don't want to kill ourselves in the process. And so I guess it wasn't so much mentoring in me in the way that it traditionally would be.
Right.
But it was sort of showing me what I don't want. Because I don't want to be that person who is constantly working and not having time for things. And that actually was really hard not to do when I first started, because you get scared. And you work really hard and you have like no boundaries.
There'd be a whole other episode on
All
that.
the other business owners out there be like,
Yep.
no boundaries, because you just want to be able to make sure you can pay your bills.
Yeah.
And that your business can survive. And then you have to get to this point where you finally go, I am going to have some boundaries, because I'm dying. I can't do this all the time this way. That and respecting your own time. So, having clients who might, especially in my line of work, and I'm sure in many others, oh, can you do this day? And it's a day I'd have taken off. In the past, I might have said yes. But now I'm like, I'm so sorry, I don't have that available. So giving yourself some priority time to, once you're at that point where you feel like you can, and you have to get to that point sooner than later. Otherwise we'll still be hustling 10, 20 years later.
And that's not sustainable.
It's not sustainable.
And I think, right, we were talking before that there's a shift happening.
There is. Where everybody we don't want that hustle. We want authenticity with the businesses that we work with. And that's part of the reason I do well in my business. I'm real. You get what you see.
Yeah.
And especially in my courses that I do, they're courses I wrote because I needed them. So it's this idea of, you want somebody who, when you work with them, they get you. And they're honest, and they're real. When I was working in retail, we always have this idea of upselling, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I mean, that's what end caps are for in retail. You want to try and upsell. So I don't want to do that. And when people come to me, and I have some things in my office that just let them know some of the other things I offer, but I never talk about them. I just have them there, because I want people to come to these offerings when they're ready, not because I'm pushing them to do them. And that's a huge shift in business. When we let people come at their own pace, they tend to actually move quicker than what we would think.
That's interesting, because people, they know right away.
They do.
They can tell.
And you want the business that connects with you.
Yep.
I mean, no matter what business you do, you want your clients to connect with you, because then they'll keep returning. And you shouldn't have to have a hard sell for what you do.
Right. I really love the conversation I had with Jenn, and I so appreciate her taking the time to talk with me. The takeaways are, Educate your clients on how you do things, how you operate, and then let them come to you at their own pace. You are educating, you are not selling, and sometimes they come to you even faster that way. Connection and integrity is everything in business. People know when you're being real and when you're not being real. And finally, no matter what business you're in, having boundaries around your time and energy is crucial for self-sustainability and success. If you want to get in touch with Jenn, I have all her information below. If you need help telling your story through video or photo, you can get in touch with me as well. I hope you got something out of our conversation today. If you think someone else would appreciate it, please share. I will see you next time on the Soul Side of Business.